Right then, pull up a chair, grab a pint, or a cup of tea if you're feeling proper, and get ready to listen to the chaotic, gut-punching, protest-filled saga of the Bonus Army March, where honour got slapped, promises got torched, and a certain future president got a front row seat to the mess. Picture it, 1932. The Great Depression is doing the cha-cha on everyone's savings. Bread lines are longer than a queue for free beer, and unemployment is somewhere between grim and apocalyptic. Enter the Bonus Army, a ragtag horde of World War I vets who said, "Oi, remember that cash you promised us for risking life and limb in the trenches? We'll take that now, please. We're broke." The catch, the government said. "Sure, in 1945. That's right. They promised vets money and told them to come back in 13 years, during the worst economic crisis in modern history. So the boys said, "Nah, mate, we're not waiting. Road trip." Thousands of these veterans, plus their families, packed their kit bags, hitched rides, and straight up marched on Washington, D.C. from all corners of the country. No TikTok, no Wi-Fi, just fury, dust, and worn-out boots. By the summer of '32, over 15,000 veterans had turned D.C. into their own protest party. They camped out by the Anacostia River in a makeshift camp they cheekily called Hooverville. A not-so-subtle jab at President Herbert Do-Nothing Hoover. And get this, they ran it like a proper mini-city. There were sanitation committees, night patrols, even makeshift schools for their kids. Basically, peaceful, organised, and way more functional than Congress. Their demand: just pay out the bonus now, not in 1945. The bill was up for a vote. The House passed it. The Senate gave it the old jog on. Cue outrage, heartbreak, and a lot of pissed off veterans with nowhere to go. By the way, get this gem of a lesser known fact. While DC was panicking over these vets, Washington hotels were so nervous they refused to rent to any man who looked like he could have served in World War I. So if you had a limp and a flat cap, tough luck, mate. Now, most people thought Hoover might try to, help. Or at least not act like a Bond villain. But no, the man called in the actual army to clear out the camps, and leading the charge. None other than General Douglas Big Hat MacArthur, flanked by his aide. Yep, Major Dwight D. Eisenhower, future president and part-time riot bouncer. What followed was less peaceful resolution and more full-on military operation. On July 28, 1932, tanks rolled in, bayonets were fixed, and tear gas filled the sky like it was a bloody war zone. They burned down the camp. People, veterans, were beaten, gassed, and driven out like criminals. One baby died. Multiple veterans were injured, and Hoover's approval rating plummeted faster than a dropped pint. Imagine being a veteran. You survive mustard gas in the trenches of France, only to get tear-gassed in your own capital for asking for your money. And here comes MacArthur, strutting through the smoke like it's a bloody parade, puffing his chest out. Meanwhile, Eisenhower's in the corner whispering, General, maybe don't. And MacArthur says, "I'm busy saving democracy." Mate, you're saving it from the people who literally fought for it. Now let's pause the chaos and ask, was this a failure of leadership, or just cold policy? Moral clarity? Nope. Tear gassing the people you promised to help? Bit of a moral black eye. Purpose? Hoover said it was to preserve law and order, but most saw it as protecting his reputation. Integrity? Hey, imagine running over your granddad with a tank, then calling it patriotism. And MacArthur? Well, let's just say he was about as restrained as a toddler with a flamethrower. Could it have gone differently? Oh, absolutely. FDR, who was running for president, saw this whole fiasco and basically said, if they're still there when I get in, I'll give them a glass of coffee and a pat on the back, not a boot in the face. He understood what Hoover didn't. Sometimes leadership means listening, not just flexing your military might like it's a chessboard made of humans. Now here's the kicker. The veterans lost that round. The bill was shut down. The camps were burned. And most went home empty-handed and furious. but the bonus army planted seeds. When World War II rolled around, politicians remembered the shame of 1932. So in 1944, they passed the GY Bill, giving veterans help with housing, education, and more. You could say the bonus army didn't get their bonus, but they changed the system so the next generation would. That's how protest works, isn't it? You don't always win the day, but you bend the arc. So, what have we learned? Don't promise money to people who nearly died for your country, and then gas them when they ask for it. Tanks aren't a good solution for social issues, just saying. Never underestimate the power of organized, peaceful protest. Even if it ends badly, it can spark a revolution down the line. And for Hoover? Well, the man lost the next election in a landslide. The voters basically said, "Get out, mate, and take your tear gas with you." Stay curious, stay sharp, and stay just sober enough to remember it all. This was just a swig of history, and if it wasn't in your textbook, it bloody well should have been. And before you go, do a brother fav and like, share and subscribe. Cheers!